Welcome to the Entertainment Rants Podcast, your number one opinion source for all things entertainment. Join host Marco Mazzola as he sounds off on the latest movies, TV, music, gaming, comic books, and more. Now, here's the man of the hour, Marco Mazzola.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Entertainment Rants Podcast. I am, as always, your host, Marco Mazzola, and I'm joined by my ranters for today. Hello, Larry.
Hey.
And Bruno.
Remember what I told you. If you ever feel lost, look into the eyes of the people you love.
Oh, we're just going to stare at each other for a little while.
Just you and
That's
me.
cute.
That's it, right here.
And I'm
right
Mila.
Here. And Mila!
Hi.
And I'm Mila. Sorry, I got lost in Bruno's eyes. All right, so as you can tell, we are going to be talking about Thor Love and Thunder today. We're excited. We're doing our Marvel review for Thor Love and Thunder. Obviously, we've all seen it. Rating on IMDb was not as stellar as I thought it was going to be. And in fact, if I remember correctly, it was higher and then dropped pretty drastically. It started out pretty good. And then people really got an idea of what the movie was about. And that started to go downhill quickly. So, Thor Love and Thunder. Who wants to go first on their overall, before we get to the nitty-gritty, overall opinion on this movie? Larry's jumping on. Larry's first. Larry's
get it out of the
You
way.
shoot first.
Meh. This is
Meh.
such a meh movie for me. Like,
Why, Larry? Tell us why. We gotta know.
What
We
did
have
it
to
do to
know.
you?
Show us on the doll
did
where it
nothing,
touched you.
actually. No, I didn't.
It
didn't
touch you at
touch
all?
me. Not at
so
all.
if it did, you'd be happier about it.
A little bit.
Got it.
Yeah.
Reach
just-
around
just
something.
Give me something. Just the whole movie just kind of sucked for me. And I know I'm kind of just wasting breath here, like not really saying anything of value. I know. This movie.
Don't worry. The Washington Sentinel will let us know.
That was a
Fair
great
enough.
launch into a rant. That was a
Nice.
great.
Yeah.
This is very.
I'll go first. Meh.
I know,
It was.
All right, shoot the fat on this
so
man.
I think what it was.
I'll go first.
What I wanted to be more. Excuse me, and I feel that it was Waititi with
What? Taika Waititi.
Taika
Taika Waititi from fucking beginning
Boca
to end.
Raton. From Boca Raton.
Waka Flocka TT. It
Hails from Boca Raton. Don't you know?
You leave Boca Raton alone. It's a great place in Florida.
That's right. There goes our Boca membership.
I know, right?
We just lose them one show at a time.
One show at a time. We're going to be down to like our parents. Not mine. They won't listen. But
Yeah. No, it just I sucked.
Cool.
it sucked.
I'll go next.
Mila, can you pick up after that wonderful
Mila.
story from Larry?
When
I mean,
I
Mila,
was
how do we come back from
watching
that?
it- When I was watching it, personally, I can see some parts where you're getting at. I had fun watching it. I actually kind of liked it. Although it was very heavy-handed in the Taika Waititi area. Like, there was a lot that I was like, this kind of smells like him.
It does. I mean, the last one did too, but this was, to me,
this
it was
was
one
like
of those like overdone.
On high.
Right, I always equate it to me. I'll always do this, and I've done this before on the podcast. I'll equate it to the Ace Ventura and Ace Ventura 2. Right, the first Ace Ventura movie was, bits and pockets of Jim Carrey playing Ace. The second one was like, that was awesome. Do it the whole hour and 45 minutes. Don't stop being Ace for the entire hour and 45 minutes. So it was like, even though I liked the second one, it was overdone. You could see where they're like, shit, that was great. Let's just do it the whole time. This was the same thing, right? Ragnarok had funny parts, right? That was the first Taika's, version, when he jumped on board to direct. And it was like, that was awesome. Let's just do more of that. And it was like, okay, here you go. Here's an hour and 45 of Taika's like funniness and jumping, cool. And it just, I think you're right. It was just overdone. It was too much.
Yeah.
It was too much. Bruno?
So I am a big fan of like Chris Hemsworth and the way he portrays Thor.
Yes.
I enjoy the way he did it. I liked the first movie even when he wasn't like funny Thor.
Yeah.
But exactly like you said, it was too much. After Ragnarok was a really good turn where you were like, wow, the previous movie was not very good. They changed the whole attitude. They
needed to.
Yeah, they
They had to
changed
pull out of
him.
that whole thing.
Yeah, it was going nowhere. It wasn't really tenable. But
that franchise wouldn't have gone very far if they did.
Right, and Taika turned it around. My problem is that he leaned too much on his old same jokes, right? Like he didn't come up with anything new. He didn't. introduce any new angles. It was the same old Thor. In fact, he was kind of even more dumb and even more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't really
like
like
that.
Rocky
that.
V.
Yeah, he really could have been.
I like cool Thor.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, when
he
he's
would
cool,
have been,
I love cool Thor.
Exactly.
But they
exactly.
gave us like.
They gave us like
my
dumb Thor.
They gave us imbecile Thor, and I know
Yeah.
that I didn't really get into much detail why I didn't like it, but that was, I mean, you guys already hit it, and I knew it was going to come up. It's like how you said, it's Ragnarok was good, but this is from beginning to end Ragnarok.
It was Ragnarok
It
too.
was too much.
Yeah.
It was too
Yeah.
much. Like you were just hitting on, cool Thor. Thor is supposed to be a god. He's supposed to be like this. There's supposed to be some sort of seriousness to him, right?
Yeah.
He turned
He
into
lost it.
He
didn't
he's
feel
an
like a
imbecile.
god. It was kind of disappointing.
I mean, I thought
you
it
know?
was funny when he was doing the whole that's my ex-girlfriend thing, right? For a few
Yeah.
minutes, everybody's kind of been there. You can kind of
Yeah.
relate. You can like, that's my ex.
That was half
Oh,
the
yeah.
movie.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah, there's too much, right?
Just too, yeah.
And like all
They
the
kept
references.
falling on
They had
Rose.
to build their relationship to kill her off at the end. Like that was kind of like, otherwise there's no weight.
We're going to talk about why that was stupid too in a little bit, but
Yeah.
I didn't see the need for that. But
Well, it follows the comics, I believe. It follows the storyline.
I gotcha. But they just introduced. They didn't have to kill her off right now. They just introduced her.
I actually like
And-
that they killed her because I don't think I wanted to see.
No, I don't want to see her again.
anymore. I was like, oh, thank God.
No, it's fine. I mean, I wasn't super attached to her either.
Yeah.
I don't think they did a lot of development with that, and they never really carried her through. But like the reasoning didn't make sense. Like Mjolnir was draining her power. Why? It was supposed to protect her, right? Thor was like, "Here, little buddy, hammer, take care of her when I'm not around," and it did. Right? It called to her, and she became female Thor essentially. And then it turns out that Mjolnir was the thing that was draining her life force. Like, what the fuck?
But it felt more like protect her, but this wasn't something that Mjolnir could really protect her from. Like, of course,
No,
it gave
I
her
disagree.
strength and stuff and stamina.
She read about the hammer, and in the text that she read, I believe it said like it had like healing and restorative and superpowers. I thought that's what it
Allegedly.
Allegedly,
as
sure.
she's the Thor, as she's the
Yeah.
said. As Thor. Yeah, but
Which
why
is not
couldn't?
Thor.
But I think what it was is because of Mjolnir, she's now Lady Thor. She's exerting so much energy that her physical body just can't keep up with it.
But she's not a god. She's
Yeah.
not a demigod.
Yeah, that's
she's
the
not a
big
half
thing
god.
is she's-
so I think
just a
that's
regular
what it
human
is.
being.
Thor's a god. She's a mortal
You
woman.
could
that
say that she
Different thing.
became god status when the hammer adopted her as Thor. I mean, that's
But Thor was of the gods.
understood.
You know what I mean?
I'm
He
just
is a demigod.
saying.
He is a half. You know what I mean? His father's a god. He's the god of gods essentially for Asgard.
I get it.
He's
Yeah.
Asgardian.
I get
It's
it. But like,
different.
why
She's just an
would
average human.
wielding the hammer essentially kill her? I
But it doesn't mean
understand.
what it says.
I
It
understand
drains her
within.
power.
I understand, but I didn't
But
understand
as
why
somebody who's
they
a
made.
god,
But I didn't
you can
understand why they
withstand
made that decision. Why make that decision in the writing? Why decide to that the hammer was saving her and yet killing her? Like,
I thought it was an interesting duality.
I thought it was too. I thought it was just like, is it the facilitate to get her to basically die quicker at the end? Like she's
Well, we
dying of
needed
cancer,
the
like, all
payoff
time.
at the end of
She
the
needs
if you
to-
turn to Thor one more time,
So-
that last time.
Yeah.
Right. Because if she's dying of cancer, she has to be able to be strong enough to wield the hammer and to be the mighty Thor. But when she's not, she has to also be weak enough to die. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I
you know
get
what I
it.
mean? So if her
I just-
cancer's that far progressed, you know what I mean? She couldn't have done anything she had to do.
I think
She
I would
couldn't
have
even lifted
preferred
it.
to see her die from some sacrifice she made. Maybe she
Well, that was the sacrifice
trope-
she made.
No,
Was
I get it,
choosing
but
to
I was-
pick up the hammer.
Again.
You know,
Well,
again,
yeah, she picked it
that
up
one
one
last
more
time
time.
because she knew she picked it up one more time. She wasn't going to come out of that,
I get it.
and she did make that sacrifice at the end. So there was still that play there.
You're 100% right. I think for me that sacrifice wasn't heavy. It wasn't. It was just she was already kind of dying, and so I think she just figured, if I'm going to die, let my death be useful, right?
And I think part of it, there's a lot going on.
I would have rather seen her like dive in front of the bullet, metaphorically.
Yeah.
Where she wasn't going to die, but she took a bullet for somebody. You know what I'm saying by that? And so
Took
that
Zeus's spear like to the chest.
yes,
Everything.
maybe there was a death stroke that was coming, and she took
From
it for
Gorr.
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The blade, the necro blade, was about to stab him, and she dove in front and sacrificed herself. For me,
knowing she was going to die from cancer anyway. You know what I mean? So she's like, what the hell? I'm going to sacrifice myself to save you.
Yeah, maybe something like that. But it didn't feel. I didn't like the way it went. I didn't like that part of the story.
It wasn't for Bruno. But I think there was a lot going on in this movie.
There was, but I didn't think
a lot
there
of
was
characters. So we had to service a lot of characters, right? Between Gorr, Thor, Lady, Mighty Thor. What's her name?
Valkyrie.
Valkyrie. Thank you. Tessa Thompson. Zeus. We got this whole Zeus storyline.
I wouldn't call that a storyline.
That was one thing I didn't like.
It's a storyline because they extended to the end when he into the after credit scene.
But they didn't have to do much. They didn't have to do much within that. I didn't think much. And I don't like the way I didn't think there were too many characters. I think it was a 2-hour movie.
In the beginning, we have to get rid of the Guardians because he was with the Guardians of the Galaxy. We had to find a way to get rid of them at the beginning.
So why didn't we get a movie about him traveling with the Guardians?
I
was hoping for that.
That's A, what the trailers kind of gave us.
Yep.
Yeah.
And B, it also, when he says, "Oh, we need help," one would assume he would go to the Guardians, but then he goes, "No, we're going to go to the gods, and they're going to not help."
Yeah, they're not going to
And then we're still not going to go to the Guardians.
That was the best part. We're going to get help. And the god's like, nah, fuck off.
I mean, they set it up. They set it up at the end of the last one, saying we're going to go. He's going to be traveling with the Guardians now, and then they never showed him do anything with the Guardians. You can't tell me that the first 5 minutes of the movie,
a couple minutes in the movie, showing him doing some adventure.
Yeah, but we're getting volume 3 though. We're getting volume 3, so is that going to be part?
No, I think they're without Thor in volume 3.
Yeah, because we had to get rid of Thor.
Because they dumped him. They dumped him off.
Yeah,
and Thor's doing his thing now.
So we're never going to get that.
So we're never going to get that.
No. And so I think that's
in a way I
weird.
am okay with that in a little bit because the power struggle between him and Star-Lord gets a little old and annoying. It's my ship. Oh, it's your ship. Wink, wink. It's like, all right, got it. Thank you.
No, they finished that already.
They did it. He was still doing it. Like when he was staring at him, it was still kind of like, yeah, this is my group, my base. Like, no, it's my group. And I think if they kept him on the ship, through the next Guardians, it would just been more of that. Because how do you just dump that?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden Thor's going to be like, oh no, you're right, and just have nothing to do with it anymore. Right. He's always going to want that power to be the leader of the ship.
Yeah, and it's just too much of a compulsion for Thor to be the either a leader or like a big play,
Yeah, I think to be honest with the Guardians play better without him. He's too much of a powerhouse. He can just kind of solve all, as he did.
Yeah, he's too strong.
Take the hammer down. He solves the whole damn problem.
Yeah.
Well, Guardians now we're going to get to. Adam Warlock, we get through that whole storyline, and now you bring Thor into it. Yeah, finally, we add Thor into it. It's like one of those Hulk Thor. Like it's too much power. It solves. It's the nuke. He can solve the problem very easily. You know what I mean? So when it comes to something at their level,
but then don't promise that. Don't end a movie saying,
I agree.
I'm going to travel with you for the next however long.
Yeah, nope. And
just
don't immediately cancel that within 5 minutes of the next
they were like, no, we're not doing that.
No, we're not doing. We can't do that. You know how expensive that shit would be? That's too expensive.
So anyway, I was disappointed that we didn't see much more of that.
Yep.
But I thought his montage was hilarious with the chains.
I like the Marvel version of the callback of the old costume when he's running. Like, that's fine. Like, I'm okay. They've done that a bunch of times with old costumes.
That was his son running as one of them.
Yes.
One of them. And then his daughter
his actual son,
played Love.
Yes.
That was his daughter, Chris Hemsworth's daughter.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's totally cool.
I really like that. That's actually really cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah, that was totally fun. Yeah, I mean, overall, I thought it was a decent movie. I'm glad I saw it.
I liked it.
I laughed a bunch of times, but not the whole time. There were sometimes I definitely rolled my eyes. Well, Larry and I are watching it together. I'm like, okay, that's a little much. It's a little ham-fisted on some of the jokes, and you kind of see the joke coming. Like, you said this earlier. Like, are they really going to go for this easy? Yep, they did. They went right for the easy joke every time.
Yeah, exactly. And I was
it was
like,
the Michael Scott. That's what she said. Like, that's coming, right?
Yeah.
How many times are we going to hear him do
this? They did it better in Ragnarok.
Yeah,
because they kept it a little more serious.
It was just spurted in a little bit here and there to help. Alleviate some of the heavy tension. This was just like joke.
Well, I mean,
they went a little too much.
Goofy Zeus, goofy gods, goofy. You know what I mean? It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, I think honestly, you nailed it. We started Ragnarok, which was a great turnaround from the Dark World, which was shit. So we kind of needed to change that a little bit, right? And in the movies with Thor, like you kind of see him changing from like, the godlike Thor to almost kind of like human Thor. So like you kind of saw that throughout the movies, and then you get Ragnarok, and you get more human Thor than you are godlike Thor. And with the jokes, it's like, all right, cool. And then we got this one, and it was the imbecile Thor throughout the whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
And again,
I wanted a little bit more badass Thor.
I wanted more God
you get imbecile Thor, and you get like Thor and his relationship.
Which
in the living room watching TV.
I didn't have a problem with the relationship issues.
Yeah, no,
I thought it was kind of fun.
I thought that was actually done. Personally,
Yeah.
I thought that what they did with Jane Foster and like Thor, I actually really liked that. I thought that was one of the stronger parts. Personally,
I did too. Yeah.
I thought that was really well done.
That was my least favorite part. Isn't that funny how we can all like sit around
Right?
and watch the same movie? Like, nah,
I didn't mind it.
watching their
I
relationship go up and then turn to shit because they're both off doing the things they need to do. He's gonna go off being Thor, save the universe. She's gonna go do her science, and so the relationship just completely falls apart. Which, don't get me wrong, that happens all the time with people. Like, that's a normal relationship thing that happens to a lot of people. It's like, I know that's going to happen. All right, it was just kind of like, why do we put that in there? But they had to get them
they
apart.
needed to explain why they were apart, right?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but like, do we need to? Do we need to have that much?
I think they needed to.
Do we really need to have that much time? They spent a lot of time on it.
No, I think that
The movie could have been shorter without
I think
a lot
they
of that.
needed to, though. I do think they needed because otherwise it would have felt like they just jammed it back
it would have
together.
felt forced.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, oh, this chick again?
We would have been talking about why the
I
hell
would
is
have
she
been fine
back?
with one or two flashbacks, but there was a long period of time of
I
watching.
don't know. There wasn't a whole lot to the movie. I mean, it wasn't a heavy
Right, I would have
movie.
seen more of other stuff.
There wasn't a whole ton of like plot needed. Right, they stole some kids, and
Let's go get them.
You know what they didn't do? They didn't show Gorr the God Butcher butchering any gods. I would have loved to have seen that.
You see some after he's done it. Like,
Yeah,
some
you don't see him
aftermath.
doing
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
I never saw him do anything like cool or badass. And you pick up an actor like Christian Bale, who did an amazing job in Batman. No response from Marco on that. That's
come back.
amazing.
I think he just
No, it's
ignored
more
you.
like that's his
No.
reaction.
That was
Is he's
just
like, I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that.
Yeah. No, but anyway, I think
That's not my business.
whether he did a good job or not in Batman, I think he's a good actor. And so, although he's a little bit crazy town, but
Yeah,
he did.
I have no
he did a
problem with
really good job, I think, as Gorr.
His scenes
I would have
were
loved to have seen it.
amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were awesome.
They're some of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah, that was.
They didn't do
Yeah.
enough with it, though.
Yeah, that's
No.
what I'm saying. They
And
didn't
they
do
did
anything
more
with
on
it.
other things that we didn't
could have
like.
done so much more.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say about the whole relationship thing, like I didn't mind the relationship build up and the show. I'm kind of in the middle. I didn't need to see all of that. Like you spent a long time of that movie showing us the dynamic between why they split, and now the struggle that he's having, actually working with his ex, and she's kind of making it look like they almost made it look like she was over the relationship, and he really wasn't.
Yeah, I think that's
essentially that's. But you spent like a lot of time of the movie.
Do you know
on
why?
Just
Do
that.
you know why I think they did though? Because at the end of the movie, what did they do? She died, and why? What saved the movie was when Gorr decided not to make a wish to kill all the gods.
Right.
Why did he do that? Because of Thor's love for Jane and how he saw her interacting. Thor was like, "Do whatever the fuck you want. I'm going to spend the last few minutes of my life with the person I love." And I think
Why didn't he bring her back
What?
with his wish?
Wait, what?
He didn't have a wish.
It's the
He
first
didn't-
person.
Yeah,
It's
he
the
didn't have a
first
wish.
person that gets there.
It's the first
Right.
person that sees
Just
it.
And that
Gorr.
was
So
not
it's just
Thor.
Gorr. Why would Gorr care about her?
So because of the connection that Gorr and Thor have, he's like, I'm going to go do my own thing. Not for nothing. If he saw that, and if he's supposed to have this like life-changing thing to do something good, he brings back his daughter who's already passed. That's not going to be with him because he's passed. So he's going to bring back his daughter and put her with Thor. So Thor's going to watch her.
Yeah, but
why not just be like, hey, you know what? I see the relationship that you guys have. My daughter is already gone. Let me help you and let me do my good thing. Let me bring your love back to you because you're
Yeah, but
I
he
don't buy
just stopped hating him.
Yeah, if
he
it-
just stopped hating him.
Like moments before, and we don't even know if he stopped hating him. He just was moved by the love he showed.
Well, he was
Yeah.
moved
And
enough
so-
to bring his daughter back to let her be raised by
dude,
him.
I'll be honest.
Yeah,
Right.
there
That
you
was his
go.
mortal enemy.
If I was in Gorr's position, I could bring back some other lady or my son or daughter. I'd bring my kid back. I don't care what else
frankly,
is going on.
I'd
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
rather bring the kid back.
Okay, so you're going to bring a kid back, right?
Yeah.
Raised by who?
Your mortal enemy. But the kid's still living.
But you just saw
But you
he's
know
kinda
your mortal
legit,
enemy.
though.
You're dying. Your mortal enemy seems like a
pretty
decent enough
stand-up
person.
guy.
Good guy. a bit jokey.
And was he a mortal enemy, or he was just part of the set of people that are gods? He doesn't know you first. He doesn't know Thor per se.
He's an enemy by proxy.
You're an enemy because you're a quote-unquote god.
But wait a minute, but now you're just backpedaling what you said, that why does he give a shit about this guy and his relationship?
But he doesn't. He doesn't care.
But if he doesn't care enough about the relationship between this guy and, like, he doesn't give a shit about the guy.
Okay, here's an analogy then. You're walking down the street, you get a wish. You see two people across the street kissing, or you can bring your son back. You're going to bring your son back, although it's nice.
Am I dying? Wait, am I dying? Okay, no, because that's part of it. We can't take that out of it. Because if I'm dying, I'm not going to bring my son to come back to be with who? With strangers? With strangers. So you're dying. You're going to bring your son back to be raised by a stranger.
I'm a parent, maybe, but I would bring my kid back.
To be raised by who?
Anybody.
That's not the
Anybody
question.
who you conceive is a good person.
Anybody at all.
At the end of the day, he might not like Thor because he's a god, but he knows he's a good person. Clearly, by what he's done and trying to keep, spend his time with his love.
If you think about what changed
and clearly
his
Thor
mind,
has a lot of love in him.
Kids, so there's that.
He wants to bring him back and let him re-raise.
Yeah, think about the reasons that he might think Thor's a decent guy, even though he's a god. He tried to rescue the kids.
Yep.
He decided to leave. To let Gorr do his thing and spend the last few minutes of his life with someone he loved. That shows something deeper than what Gorr thought a god was based on his experience, right? He thought gods were self-centered.
You're going to die anyway.
He thought they were self-centered bullshit. So this changed his mind about, should I kill all the gods? And so he decided, let me bring back my daughter. But I think it's a big leap to say, let me bring back my daughter and...
Because at the end of the day, wasn't
her.
that was almost like his motivation the whole time. He wanted to kill the gods because of what they did, and that the fact that they were useless and turned and ended up his daughter died because of it, because of their
the daughter died because they were in the middle. Wait, no,
their dedication to the gods, and the gods
didn't come back and help. They were like, whatever.
He just wanted his kid back. At the end of the day, he would have stopped all that shit just to have his kid back.
Can we just talk about how I definitely could have found myself in Gorr's shoes? Like, if that were me, I would have done that. Yeah. Like, that villain, quote unquote, I think was really well written. Like,
it would have been
his motivation.
Be like, take care of my kid.
I would have done that same thing. I'd have been like,
you know what?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Even though a few minutes ago I was going to kill you, now I have the power to kill you, but I saved you. Take care of my kid.
Yeah,
because you can. It's weird, but I get what I know why you have trouble with it. But I also understand why Bruno knows why, because I have a kid too. So it's like, I want my kid to live. I will do anything I need to, even if I wouldn't put him with a shithead. Yeah. I wouldn't put him with somebody who's awful. But I know this guy's not awful. Clearly, he wants to take care, so he's going to take care of my kid.
But how do you know?
And clearly, if the guy was awful, if he saw Thor as an awful person, he probably would have followed through and killed all the gods with the wish.
That's right.
That's kind of also something that stopped him.
It changed his mind. That's what changed his mind.
Well, we're struggling today.
I mean, if you're asking why didn't he just save her over saving his kid, I think that's a no-brainer. As a parent, it's for me.
Yeah,
it'd be a no-brainer to save my kid. If you're asking why didn't he save both of them, that's a more valid question. I could see, like, you're definitely going to save your kid no matter what, and maybe save her also. So the wish would have been, bring my kid back and save her, but maybe you can't do that. Maybe
that's what I assume you can't do is, like, the word and isn't allowed, because that's two wishes.
It was one wish. First of all, you keep saying the word saved. The child has already been dead for
saved from being dead.
Saved from being dead. Yeah.
It's kind of a form of being saved.
Technically, they're both dead.
Okay, we're going to agree to disagree. I think that sucks. I think that part sucked. I don't like the fact that Gorr turned into super, super evil guy that wants to kill all the gods, that at the last minute, I understand why he starts to change, but why would you do that? Why would you bring your child back to have it be raised by somebody else? That's my sticking point.
Not why would you bring your child back.
Why would you bring your child? Because you're dying. So it's not you're not like, oh my God.
Okay, so Question. I understand where you come from. So question for you then, for more clarity. Would you rather leave your child as dead?
Yes.
Okay, so you're not a parent. And I think that, I know, look, before I had kids, I fucking hated when people are like, no, you don't get it. But after having kids, I'm telling you, me personally, I changed my perspective 180 degrees to like, as a parent, I don't care what is going on in the world. If there's something wrong, I would sacrifice myself for my kid without even thinking about it in moments. It's a different thing. And so for me, when he decided to bring his kid back, regardless of who's raising the kid, I totally was on board.
But you can't say regardless, right?
No,
so because that's taken it out of context. So you asked me, right, what would I do? If I was in that same exact situation, because it's, again, we're not talking about, hey, your choice is you die or your child dies. Oh, no, if that was the case, I'm fucking dying.
Of course.
Of course I am.
Yeah.
Of course. That doesn't take a parent or non-parent to go, hey, I'm going to sacrifice myself for my child.
I understand.
If that's what the choices are.
Yeah.
That choice has already been made. That child has already passed. Okay?
Yep.
So now he goes on, I'm going to kill all the fucking gods because they refuse to lift a finger to help mine.
Yeah.
Okay?
Sure.
So that child is passed.
Yeah.
He turns into the Gorr that we see that's covered in evil. We literally see the transition of him with the black teeth and the evilness, and I'm going to kill everybody. And he sees this very last moment that he goes, wow, this guy's a pretty good guy. I won't kill him. But so for my choice, if you had that little part of, why not, you know what? No, am I going to save you, but I'm going to stop killing I'm not going to wait for the gods. Because you sacrificed so much, I'm going to let you have your wife, and I'm going to carry on.
I mean,
because that would have been
a choice, right? That's a choice. I get it.
But instead,
to me, that would have been
so instead, he lets her die. He brings back his kid and goes, hey, you raise my kid now. Good looks.
Totally makes sense to me, I'll be honest.
What if Thor didn't want to raise the kid?
Well,
Then the kid is just got brought back from infinity. She's a god, essentially, anyway.
She had power.
She has god powers.
A child born of infinity, right. Yeah. So, like, we catch that at the end.
He might not even be too worried about whether she's going to live or not. He might know that she's going to be godlike.
Well, he knew that. Yeah, the lore was already there.
Oh, the lore was there?
Yeah, from born of infinity.
So wait a minute. So wait a minute. So then, if the Lord was already there, and he already knew that if he brought her back, she would be a child of infinity, and she was going to have all his power. Then who gives a fuck how he feels about Thor? Then he didn't do it to be a nice guy.
Well,
he brought his daughter back.
But he
brought his daughter back. No, but wait. If the Lord was already there, that if he brings his daughter back, she's going to be the child of infinity, right? And she's going to be all powerful. That whole theory of he changed his mind.
I don't know if he knew all that.
Yeah,
I would say
that's about when
he made the wish. He knew.
Yeah, because that's in part. It's the reason he went to go find infinity.
No, he went to go find infinity so he could make a wish to kill all the gods.
Yeah, but he changed his wish. But he knows.
Understood.
But they all knew about the fact, just like we knew that born of infinity is what happens. If you're born of infinity, that's part of the lore they already know of what is supposed to happen.
If he knew that she was born of infinity, then he didn't do it because he saw the dynamic with Thor and his. Then you could take that right out of it, because then it doesn't fucking matter how he feels about Thor. If Thor was a good guy or this, he was like, my daughter, I'm going to bring my daughter back, and she's still going to kill you because she's going to have power. So fuck you and your dying woman. This is why I'm bringing my woman back, my daughter back.
Maybe I didn't get the impression that he knew that she would be a super god.
This could have gone. I feel like this could have gone a million different ways. He could have made
the movie asserts that he changes his mind because of the love that he sees between Thor and Jane,
and that's just how it plays out.
In the movie,
right? But why not reward Thor by giving him his life?
He did reward him by keeping him alive.
Mind, but he ain't that nice. He's still Gorr the God Butcher.
Yeah, he's still kind of
he's still kind of a dick.
He's got sympathy, but not that much sympathy. He's just got it back.
I like you, but not that much of a saving woman.
Hey, I just saved you, so back off.
He just started caring about things again.
We're like 30 minutes in and we're still on the same topic.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I'm not going to kill all the gods anymore, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to
let's talk about some of the other gods.
There you go.
Let's talk about some of the other gods.
Zeus, am I right?
How about that?
Let's talk about
that's a bigger penalty.
Fuck Zeus.
There it is.
I think Russell Crowe did a hilarious job of it.
Yeah.
But I don't like the funny Zeus. I don't think Zeus.
If he had to play the funny Zeus, because that's the way they wanted it.
No, I get the fat out of shape because, it's the modern age. People don't worship the gods anymore. They're not the same. But I don't ever think that he'd become a goofball weirdo.
Yeah.
But that
game show host.
I thought that was really stupid.
He was kind of a game show host at that point.
If they did something I feel like something that would have been nicer is they could have still had him like a sleaze bag, But cooler.
A cooler
He should have been more of a badass.
He
should have
like a
been-
more badass.
He was the god of gods.
Yeah.
like gives off an energy of like, oh my god, we can listen to this guy. This guy's serious. But then you start to hear things he says, and it's like, that's kind of messed up. And you go, you know what? I don't think I like this guy. Like they could have done that in a different way, but they instead they were like, yeah, as a game show host, like you said,
that's a great
showmanship. And I'm like,
I mean, but
then it starts to make you doubt if he's even strong.
But that was I feel like that was the script for the whole movie was like
that was Taika's take on the joke, you know.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Taika's humor's
the longest joke ever was a 2-hour joke. I think this whole movie was.
Yeah.
I read one of the things somebody said. It was it was a group of never-ending SNL skits.
Yeah.
Like the whole movie was.
That sounds
just
about right.
Oh my god.
skits.
That and the screaming goats.
The
Those
screaming
fucking-
goes, Jesus.
The goats were funny for about.
All right, they were
2
funny
minutes.
the first few times.
Yeah.
When they brought the goats with them, I was like, okay,
I
I'm sick
understand
of
why people
this.
get tired of
Initially.
it. But even at the end, this is every once in a while there's this faint little and they're screaming. It's like that's kind of funny that they're still kind of holding on to it, even though it's but, when it's really loud, obnoxious. It's like that's too much. But every once in a while, there's this little like in the background. You can hear them.
See, that's when it's funny.
It
That's
is
when it's
funny because you understand that they're still paying attention and didn't just like let go of the joke. They're still figuring the fact that they go. You said this is what they do. And you're still doing it. You're holding through
the whole.
You don't just drop it like, hey, what the fuck happened to the
It
goats?
hit the first 1 or 2 times, and then after by the 7th time, I was like, all right, we're done with the goats. Like
the goats yell. We know.
Yeah, we get it. Ha ha.
Yeah, but when
How
you're
funny
here, they
goats
yell.
scream, ha,
so the
ha,
fact that at the end of the
move
movie,
on.
like towards the end, they're still yelling. To me, it was like, all right, they didn't just drop
no.
it. They held it true.
It was an internet from 10 years ago. Like they want their goats back. Like no, it was funny for the first couple minutes, and then I was like, all right.
Yeah, it was a funny throwback to like what you like.
The old
for a
memes,
second,
yeah.
for the
meme
old
of
goat
that
screaming
goat
memes. I'm like, look, I got sick of that soon after.
I know, right?
Like
after the first 15 seconds, I was like, all right, I'm done with this. That's funny, and then let's move on. Right, like
20 years later, man, shut it up!
I'm like, you do that one
Kill
more
these
time.
things.
No.
Kill these things, will you?
I'm like,
No,
I was
enjoyed
waiting
it.
for them to die somehow, and I'm like,
I thought it was fun. I enjoyed that part of it, and the fact that they still held it, even like in little minor. Small, you could kind of hear them in the distance.
Well,
if it was like always in your face screaming at the screen by the end of it, I totally would have been like, I would have walked out. This is bullshit. But like you'd hear them in a very faint distance.
The fake distance ones were
those are good.
Those
That's
are
what I
those
like.
are tasteful.
yeah,
that's the ones I'm talking about.
But the in
Those
your
were funny.
face,
Yeah, the in-your-face ones were
constant was
obnoxious.
Like, all right, dude,
Yeah.
enough.
the first, the second time, it was like ha ha ha, and then after that, I was like,
If they did that every once in a while, I'd be okay. But they constantly did it.
Yeah.
They
The
didn't
loud ones.
stop.
They did
and
more loud
unfortunately,
ones.
that's
Yeah.
the movie. Like the whole movie is screaming at you the entire time.
Yeah,
it's
too much in
screaming
your face.
jokes at you the entire time. It's screaming goofiness out the entire time.
Another-
it's
So
screaming
yeah,
this whole like town of bumbling idiots the whole entire
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
Like nobody knows how to
logic
handle
issue.
anything here.
Why did they? How did Stormbreaker become the key to get into the Infinity?
I have no idea.
Stormbreaker was only made like 1 or 2 movies ago. Like they just
Yeah,
Wouldn't
made
they
it.
have
So
picked
how
Mjolnir?
did that become the key?
You know?
Why wasn't it Mjolnir? Right, that would
Actually, that
would've
actually
made
could have.
more
That actually
sense.
could have
A lot
made
more
a lot more
sense.
sense.
And then once Gorr stole Stormbreaker, why couldn't you just summon it back?
Yeah, I don't. How did he?
Yeah, none of that Stormbreaker stuff made any sense.
But don't forget,
that was born. That
of
was
the dying
made.
star.
From a dying star.
Weren't they
but it
both-
was
don't forget,
just made.
But you have to remember that Stormbreaker and Mjolnir are not the same.
Yeah.
Mjolnir was imbued by
Odin.
to
Yeah.
have the to whoever holds the power of Thor. Stormbreaker was not.
Yeah,
Stormbreaker
but
is just born.
Stormbreaker was just
So it was
made.
attached to Thor because Thor made it.
But it was just made.
No, but Thor.
right.
But
So
Thor
how
made
often-
it. Remember when they made Stormbreaker, the power from that star went through Thor
So
to
that's
melt
not
the metal
question.
and
That's
go
not the
down.
question, though.
So my thing is, Thor was the one who's connected to Stormbreaker, so he can call Stormbreaker.
I see where he's going.
Yeah,
no,
Bruno's going a
not
different
connected
direction.
to Gorr.
That's not what I'm saying. My question is, right now, Gorr needed to... Remember, she was like, oh my God, he's trying to get the Stormbreaker. Because Stormbreaker was the key that would open up the portal that would let you into the Infinity Zone.
It had the power to go through the Rainbow Bridge, basically.
Why was
that
it
was a big fat
Stormbreaker?
lie,
Which was
though.
just manufactured.
This lore has been around
Yeah.
for eons,
Yeah.
right?
Stormbreaker
just
didn't
got
exist.
made. So how did
So
you?
how has that
have
been
What?
a thing?
Huh?
What do you mean?
So what?
No.
What do you
All right,
think?
listen.
all right.
Listen,
Let me
hold
make
on.
an analogy.
All right.
I love Bruno's.
You got
Here's-
good analogies, though, so I'm not mad.
Here's a...
Oh god, I feel like we're gonna get a physics lesson.
We've got a cave. We've got a
Take
cave.
his fucking calculator away.
All right, you ready? Imagine you make a door into eternity. Okay, that door needs a key. Mm-hmm. Okay, and you make a thing. That key doesn't exist yet, but you make the door and you make the lock.
Can't make a new key.
The key happens to be exactly the Stormbreaker, which isn't made for, let's say, eons later. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
But well,
You're-
first of all,
are
it's,
you-
but
are
wait a
you-
minute. First of all, it's magic, so we have to kind of suspend that.
No, no.
Yeah, you
Wait, no,
love
I'm not
magic.
done yet. I'm not done yet. It's magic, first of all. Second of all, it was made from Thor. Thor made it out of the same metal.
Then why didn't they say
Mjolnir is
that?
made
Tell
out
me-
of.
tell
And
me
remember
that-
the energy from the dying
No.
star went through Thor. Remember,
Forget about the dying star. That's a red herring.
But the thing is,
parts of
then
his
why
actual
didn't
analogy.
they bring that up as part of the
Marco.
lore? Why didn't they bring that part up as part of the lore of why
should
that
have
would
been
work?
They never showed anything
the
about
key,
it.
Marco,
Exactly.
The key should have been Thor is the key to the eternity, not the Stormbreaker. Stormbreaker is like, it's my cell phone.
It's a key.
It'd be
It's
as
a
if
key.
We need Bruno's cell
It's a
phone to
key.
open it.
It's a key, just like the sword is the sword. You know, the dart is
Then-
the sword that can kill.
But the key was
god.
just made. The
But it was
door
made from the
to
same shit that
eternity.
Mjolnir's made from.
Then why
Why
not
not make it
Mjolnir?
Mjolnir?
Because Mjolnir was destroyed.
Then it wasn't.
Mjolnir could have been. Wait a minute. Mjolnir could have been if Stormbreaker didn't exist. If Thor never had to make Stormbreaker because Hela didn't destroy Mjolnir,
I have the question
then
for you right
that
now.
could have been the thing that could have led them.
Let's go back 5 years in this time. Just 5 years.
Yeah.
Stormbreaker does not exist.
Yes.
How do you get to infinity?
Maybe it's
How
Mjolnir.
do you open that gate?
Maybe it's Mjolnir.
Oh, and you're telling me...
Or Heimdall, because remember,
Slow
it goes to the gate that Heimdall can create.
Remember when they go
the Rainbow Bridge.
Let me finish. When we go to the gate to get into eternity, there's a picture of what? Stormbreaker.
Yeah.
When he's reading the book.
Yeah,
When
I
he's
hear you.
reading the book. It didn't exist when the book was written.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
So you're telling me there's a picture of a thing that hasn't been made, yet, that gets made like thousands of years later in a book to tell you this is the
Yeah, I
thing
get what
you
you're
need
saying. I'm
in
with
order
you
to
so
get
far.
into-
Yep.
So
It's like a paradox almost,
that
right?
is logically
A leads to B leads to C.
bad.
It's like an A leads to B leads to C.
That is
leads
logically
to A.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
That's all I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying.
And so,
but wait a minute.
if
Wait a
you
minute.
say-
Let's fill in the
Let me
gap.
just finish. If you say Thor's been around for eons and Mjolnir's been with him for eons, which is a fair assertion, then you could say, all right, the book had Mjolnir in there, not Stormbreaker. And now that Mjolnir's broken, okay,
Magic
now you got
created the
problems.
pages.
But
I would
don't
get
know.
behind
But
that.
but
But
wait a
give
minute.
me a reason.
I'm
Is all
going to
I'm
tell you.
saying.
I'm going to
It
tell
could've
you.
made
in the
sense.
I'm going to
story.
give you a reason.
You're making one up, though.
No, but I'm
'cause
giving you.
they
But they're
didn't-
not going to. They might not say everything. But I'm going to give you a possibility
Sure.
or a possible reason. Think of it in the Star Wars universe. There was a prophecy that somebody would fulfill and do way before Anakin was born. Way before Luke was born. There was a
That's not-
prophecy.
This is not a
done.
prophecy. This
Then
is just
say
a key.
it's
It's
a
written.
prophecy.
It's written, but they had this all written in the books that somebody was going to do. How did you know? The person who did it was not born yet. So that was done. So why can't it be Stormbreaker? Stormbreaker is going to, in essence, don't forget, all the Guardians, the Watchers, they know what's happening. Look at He Who Remains. He knows everything that's happening up to a certain point. The magic of the lore from the Norse god, and then they can understand what's going to happen. They already know.
So
they already know Mjolnir is going to get destroyed. They know Stormbreaker is going to be a thing. The
If
Watchers already
5
know
years-
what's happening ahead
if
of time.
5 years-
because they've seen it all.
If 5 years ago somebody wanted to go to eternity, there's no way.
No, I didn't say that.
I mean,
It
that's
wasn't going to.
essentially what
Yeah,
you're
it
saying.
wasn't going to happen. But it could have been. But maybe it changed. Maybe there's a million different reasons they're not going to
I get
bother
it.
getting to.
I think
and
it's
tell
bad
you in the
writing.
movie. Yeah, I think it's
bad writing.
It's
There you
either
go.
bad
But
writing.
the thing is, they
it
could have
leaves it
said
open.
something. That's
They
my
could
takeaways.
have.
They could have said
But they didn't say
literally
everything.
anything. They could have even said, look, this suspiciously, like, Stormbreaker-esque thing opens the book.
Yeah,
It's in
yeah.
the book, you know?
If she was like, it's
Anything.
Stormbreaker, that's the key, and he was like, how can that be the key? I was just made of a
But
little
don't
bit
forget-
ago.
Yeah.
She could be like, you know that this happened and that.
But let's
and
not
that's
forget
why.
one thing.
And they could have just.
Do we
done
know that's the only Stormbreaker? Because the troll, what am I saying? The dwarf had the mold to make Stormbreaker. You didn't just make that fucking mold; it was already there.
He did have the mold.
He already
The mold was
had the
already
mold
created.
for Stormbreaker.
Well, maybe it's
Used
something
when
you
Groot,
wanted to
Groot
make.
used his arm.
The handle,
to
but
create
that's
the
the handle. That's
The
just a wooden.
picture.
It's a big wooden handle.
Look,
that could have been made out of anything.
You
in a
are
drawn
you are
picture.
making decent arguments
Yeah,
for
that's what I'm
why
saying.
maybe it could be, but I'm saying
Who knows
that
if that's the first
I'm
version of
saying
that hammer?
The story as written and presented to us is poorly done because they used a tool that was literally just made to be open this gate that is supposed to be eons old, and so I think that's
Maybe it was
just
never
a-
meant to be open before.
It's a
then.
ridiculous oversight. It's
Maybe.
they should have
But they could have said
chosen
something.
Yeah, should have said something. That's right.
Anything.
Who do
Literally
you
said
think you are? I need to
anything.
know all this information.
Well, like you
A
said,
viewer.
when you're
Someone who
presenting a
wants to
story,
understand what's
you
going
should
on.
You know now. They
you
told
should cover
hey,
those details.
what's your favorite thing to do? I don't watch the movie between scenes or
Yeah.
something like. Yeah, so that's what this is.
Yeah, that's
You
literally
know, I
the
just read it.
definition.
It showed me Stormbreaker needs to open the thing. Okay, fine. We have Stormbreaker now. There it is. Now we can open this. Now we can open this gate.
to it.
Maybe we couldn't open it 5 years ago because we needed Stormbreaker to do it. There's
Yeah.
Stormbreaker.
I can see-
you are
I can
see all this
happening
asserting
if they said
potential
something.
reasons, and I get it, but I'm saying they didn't give us any of those reasons, and now you're trying to fill in the blanks. And they're not bad things that you're saying. What I'm saying is, though,
But it's a guess.
poor writing. And it is a guess, but it's
Yeah, but
poor
we said
writing.
that about this whole movie. It's kind of poor
It's
writing.
poor
all the jokes
writing
and all
when
that
you
crap.
make the people have to do those mental gymnastics in order to make it work.
To make it work,
Like
yeah.
there are some
Sure.
things that you can.
No, I'm
be
with
like,
you on that.
Oh, it must have just been this. It must have just been that.
Yeah.
But that is
How does
literally
Batman
like,
get from the fucking cave back to Gotham with no money?
right? Whatever it is, but like those things, all right, you can kind of like, you figured it out somehow. But this to me was like one of those like you totally didn't even realize that.
Yeah, and
This
it
was
could
a
be that. It
problem.
could be that oversight, right? But I can just chalk it up to magic because the whole fucking thing is magic. The Stormbreaker
I get it.
opening
You
up
could
this
chalk anything up to
rainbow,
magic, but give me a-
because the
still
whole thing
tell
is
me.
magic. The
Yeah.
whole thing is magic. This hammer is opening up a rainbow bridge
But
to
say
get to
it.
infinity.
You know
the
what?
whole
But
fucking thing is
say it.
magic.
Make one less joke and just fucking explain that.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. I would love to have one or two less
Boom.
jokes.
Goddamn
There we
bullshit.
go.
I would have loved to have one or two less jokes in this
Fuck.
movie, maybe 10 less.
Yeah.
I'm with you on
Yeah.
that.
Jesus
Absolutely. But to me, it's like, yeah, it's magic. They had it in the book. I don't know. I never
Yeah,
read the
but
books.
you're doing gymnastics to try to figure that out.
I get what you're
But it
saying. That
doesn't
is,
have to. Shouldn't have been that hard.
Yeah, but didn't we just do gymnastics for the light year to figure out the physics and behind how
No,
they made the
we
time?
did math.
Maybe, I don't know if
Yeah.
this is
That
going to be
was
dropped
math.
after or
We
before.
did
but
actual
math, science,
calculations.
magic, whatever.
That's just what
that
we
was
know.
movie magic because they got it really fucking wrong.
We don't know that, and I said that. And they're going around that
so
star.
the point
Could
is,
be
you have
massive.
to extrapolate a lot of stuff they didn't tell us.
No, it's a simple. It's probably the gravity from the star that made.
But they didn't tell us what it
difference.
was.
Hold on,
So
we're
they
talking
didn't
about a different
explain
movie.
it.
No, but it's
They
right there.
explain it.
It's right there. It's not a big leap to say. If they had not made Lightyear shoot around that star,
Yeah.
then we would have been like, there must have been something in there. It was totally black. Maybe it was a black hole. But they had you around the star. So all I said was, clearly, I didn't take into account the gravity from the star. So that's me
So
saying.
now
I
in
didn't
Thor,
do
you're
all
not
the
taking
math.
account the magic.
Yeah. Not taking into account
Have you done the magic calculations?
The random bullshit. Go! You know?
Yeah.
It's all magic.
It's magic.
It's magic.
I think it's bad. I call it
Thor
bad
magic.
writing. I call it bad writing.
I call it magic.
Who
Call it magic
who was
writing.
written by? It was directed by Taiki, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was one of the writers. He's a story.
Was he also one of the-
Yeah,
okay.
there's a bit-
He was
there's
the
a fucking
director,
writer.
yeah.
No, he's
I
a
know
writer
the
too.
director.
Writer, I'm sure.
Story by Taika Waititi. Yeah. Jennifer Keelan Robinson.
She sucks,
was
too.
another one too, and of course Stanley, based on Marvel Comics.
But yeah, right.
Yeah.
But he did. So he did.
He did. He didn't
is there
see much.
anybody
What's wrong
else
with
would
you? I
have
say
liked
he
to have
did.
seen Gorr killing other gods? I think that would have
Yes.
been cool.
Yeah,
that
I
would've
would have.
been
I would have.
sick.
I would have loved
That
to see
would've
how
been
he took
awesome.
down the big fucking monster
That
thing.
would have been a battle that would have
Yes.
been like,
That would've been
wow, this is so
legendary.
cool.
I would have.
Yeah.
I mean, we
could've
got
a
removed,
couple
like-
less relationship flashbacks
Yeah.
to see him taking that thing down.
That would have been sick.
We
Or
saw him
less
kill
time
the
in the
first
God
god.
zone, like the God
with
arena.
Zeus and please.
And
way too much time in that area.
And when you've got all the gods in one place, wouldn't that be a great place for Gorr to just show up?
Yeah.
I was thinking that was going to happen.
But he doesn't know where it is though.
Yeah.
What
that's-
if,
No, but
That's
and that's
why-
okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It would have been fun.
Yeah.
But I get what Bruno was saying. It
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
would have been fun. But seeing some of the other shit that he supposedly did would have been way cool
Yeah.
to see him do, and would have added more
Yeah.
flavor to his
I would
character.
have loved to
see
have
how
seen more.
badass
and make
he
it
really
a
was.
better movie.
Then you'd be like, oh, Thor's fucked. You know?
Yeah.
When you
Yeah,
see
yeah.
him killing that
You
giant.
see him in the town, and he's releasing the creatures and things like that. So you kind of
Instead
like,
of
that's
just,
cool.
dude,
He's pretty
just trust
badass.
me.
Yeah, but those
But
creatures
he
didn't even-
himself didn't really do much physically.
You saw a
Yeah.
little bit of a fight scene. He was like,
He
ooh,
disappeared
and he
and
disappears into the
reappeared.
shadows
Yeah.
and comes back in the shadow and kind of like sneaky squirrel fighting, which is what villains do. So I was okay with that.
But to see
Yeah.
him take down, I can't remember the name of the damn thing with the god. is that he
Big,
takes
big
down.
thing.
Yeah, I can't
The
remember
big
his name.
god guy.
That would have been,
There's
that
an
would have
actual
been
name because
awesome.
it's a panel from the comics.
I would have loved to have seen that battle.
yeah.
I mean, even if
Yeah.
you see the final strike, whatever.
That
you know?
shot
Yeah.
of him, like Thor standing there, seeing that is a panel from the comics.
Yeah.
With
Oh,
that
okay.
monster down like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would have been
That's
so
taken
cool
directly
to
from
That
see.
still would have been sick, though.
Yeah,
It totally would have been cool to see
and
that
you know what?
happen.
Maybe for me personally, watching him be more of that evil killer and him developing from the father who lost his child
Yeah.
into the Gorr that we saw.
Yeah.
Maybe I get that last minute. Maybe I understand a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I definitely needed to see more of Gorr. And honestly, I hate to say this. I truly, truly hate saying this. Christian Bale crushed it.
He crushed it.
Absolutely.
He crushed
really
it.
did.
He
He really
nailed
did.
it.
And the
Love to
reason-
see-
really
I
did.
can't believe I'm saying I would like to see more of him.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I didn't even realize that was him until afterwards. Until
Oh, really?
I didn't.
I knew
I knew it was
I didn't look
beforehand.
at the cast, and
Previews
I was like,
or
"Oh my
whatever.
god, that was
So
Christian Bale."
I was like, is that Christian Bale? And I look it up and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh.
there was a couple of parts when they do close-ups of his face when he's talking, and he scared the shit out. I was
He
like,
is
"This
a
really
scary
good."
guy.
Like this dude's creepy as hell.
Yeah, no,
Especially
totally.
in the scene where they're all like trapped and he's just
Yeah,
tormenting
oh my
them.
god! When the kids were in the cage, they're telling the story.
Yeah, that too.
And then all of a sudden, like he comes out, and she's like, "Oh, it's had me more," and I was like, "Oh my god!" Yeah. There
And then
he
he
is.
like snaps the head off of the snake and then throws it at the kids. You're like, oh my god,
Yeah.
this guy's brutal.
Yeah. Again, like I said, I hate to say that he crushed it because I'm not the biggest Christian Bale fan. I've
yeah,
seen
no,
a couple,
he's
I mean,
terrible.
I've seen, he was
No, I
like
think he's a good actor.
A person,
he's
he's
a really
awful.
good
An
actor.
actor,
He
he's
He might not be
amazing.
a great person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, regardless of the person, I honestly,
I mean, everybody can have a bad
I
day,
don't-
but like to snap at somebody the way he did is kind of like some of the other things that he's done. So.
I mean,
Yeah,
that shit
I don't-
happens.
Pull
But
shit together.
I think
Yeah.
acting wise, he's
Yeah,
really
he's
good.
an amazing actor.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I just haven't seen enough of him because I don't like
He's
his.
pretty, he's pretty versatile. Like some of the stuff
Yeah.
that he's done.
I've seen a
He's
lot of
changed,
Christian Bale
different.
movies,
He's
just
like,
'cause I keep running
I think
into
we were
him.
talking about Nicolas Cage is kind of like the same.
Yeah.
And Taika Waititi's kind of the same character.
Yeah.
He can do
Christian's
different
the opposite.
characters.
Yeah,
He's very dynamic.
He's versatile.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe I just got to watch more of his movies because I'm just like, man. I don't
Yeah,
know.
some of them are really worth
Swing
watching.
Kids.
Yeah.
Like
Man.
Machinist is
Well,
pretty.
Yeah.
So I had this conversation with somebody that day. They were like, "Oh my god, Christian Bale's the best actor of our generation."
No, let's
And I went,
dial that
wow.
back.
Back a
I don't know
little
about
bit.
that.
Yeah, let's
don't
dial
know.
that
So
back
my-
a little bit.
A really great actor.
So my first question
I
was,
think
well,
it's Jared Leto.
Oh yeah, by far.
Morbius is- I'm editing that out just because I want to
Throw
Oh
your
yeah,
fucking
Morbius
window.
is probably my favorite movie at
I
this point
hate
now.
Jared
No.
Leto. I think he's
so
awful.
when he said that, I was like, well, first and foremost, I go, that's kind of a bold statement to say that about any actor. Really.
Yeah, you
Just
could
any
have
actor.
said
That's
anyone,
a
and you go,
bold-
whoa, let's think first.
And then I was like, well, no, for nothing. And again, maybe just because I haven't seen enough of Christian Bale. Like this person that I was talking to loves Christian Bale, and he was like, well, name me someone else. I was like, all right, Denzel Washington. I think Denzel Washington's better. I go, Tom Hanks. And they were like, well,
Tom Hanks, I definitely could see.
yeah.
that.
And he was like, well,
He'd be in the
Denzel
running.
Washington plays
Yeah.
the same character in all his movies. I'm like, wait, what? And
He sort of does.
Who?
No, but
Denzel Washington.
No, but no, he's got the same
Yeah.
swag. But here's the
Yeah.
thing, right? And this is, and I hate when I come up with things after the fact. Like I was like, oh, I should have said this. The thing about Denzel Washington, everybody says, oh, he plays the same character. No. He's got the certain swag, and people literally write scripts and go, "This is for you. We wrote
Yeah,
this
it's the
for
Denzel.
you."
You're right, but that
We're-
doesn't mean he doesn't play the same swag in every movie. I mean,
But he does. I
he's
mean,
good
that's
at
like
it,
Sam
and
L.
maybe
Jackson.
that's
People are
a
writing.
lot of it.
People
But
are
a lot
writing
of
for the
play-
way he acts.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think that's part of
Yeah.
the
You
reason
know-
why people think that he always plays the same character.
well, because he does.
Okay, Philadelphia.
I honestly didn't see that one.
that.
I know it's a good movie.
Okay,
I just
yeah,
didn't get a chance to see it.
Side note.
Yeah.
Unbelievable movie.
Yeah, I heard really good
You
things
need
about
to
it.
watch
I will.
that.
I will.
Listen,
I will.
anybody else listening?
I mean, it's all right. They win a couple Oscars.
Yeah, something like that, right?
No,
I mean,
Not that that's a
I hear
barometer.
really good
Okay.
things. I just haven't had a chance.
right. I mean, I can see.
I've been busy.
Been busy.
That movie like 30 years old. I've been
At
busy.
least. I mean, I get why people say that about Denzel because it's that same kind of swag, right?
Yeah.
And when the whole Christian Bale thing comes out, I says, well, not for nothing, but
I don't think Christian Bale's the best actor of our time. No.
and not of our time. You said of our generation, which that is stuff. I don't know what you consider one's generation,
Yeah.
right? Because
that's
I don't. Do we have a 10-year
Maybe
window?
of his own generation.
I don't know.
In his own, how old is Christian Bale? He's got to be in his 40s,
something.
50s?
He's in his 50s. I mean, he started doing movies.
I'm guessing late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah,
He started
that's
doing
my
movies
guess.
in the 90s. So that's kind of when, that's like the millennial generation. I'm like,
No. I mean, if he started doing movies.
He was born in 74.
Okay, yeah.
he's
Gen
48.
X. Gen X.
right, but I'm saying
48.
when he started
Born
doing
January
movies,
30th.
though, right, was like 89, 90. That's the millennials.
No. I mean, that's when they were like born.
That's when they were
Right,
born,
so that
but
would be
that's not-
that would be the millennial generation, right? So
I'm just thinking of his generation. In other words, the Gen
people
X,
who are old enough to have seen
of the
his movies
48-year-old
when they came
generation,
out.
which is Gen X. Like that's probably what they. I'm
Yeah.
guessing what it
So-
means. I'm just trying to extrapolate.
right. So I don't know. Is it the generation when that person was born,
I don't
or when
think
that
anybody really
person
knows.
was
kind of a generic
started
term.
doing the right?
Yeah.
So that's anyway.
Yeah. I don't think anyone really
But
knows
everybody
what
always
that
brings
means.
up the same movies, like because I've heard, did you see him in The Machinist? And I'm like, no. But between like movies, he had like 15 movies in between like his name movies. Not for nothing. When you have that many movies between all your movies. Maybe you're not the best
Not
one
every
out
movie
there.
hits. Yeah, I don't think
His
he's
first
the
movie was
best.
in 1986.
Okay. And that
Anastasia,
was-
The Mystery of Anna.
What was that?
Anastasia, The Mystery of Anna.
Oh, that's a good movie.
The TV series, really.
Okay, so
It was like the first like.
what was his
thing.
first like movie? Wasn't it like Newsies or something?
Let's
And I think
see.
he did Swing Kids after that. That was actually a really good movie. I
It's
like
funny.
Swing Kids.
It's funny seeing like movies when like big name actors were like
Miniseries.
first like starting out, or like a kid that they showed up in and then like weren't in movies until they were adults.
No, he was in
You're
a few
like,
things
what?
before that. Mio and the Land of the Faraway, Empire of the Sun,
cool.
Henry the
Okay, enough about him.
Yeah, sorry.
Good actor, good movie.
Sorry.
Probably not the best, but
Yeah.
really
Let's talk
good.
about
Smashed
another
it.
one of the big issues that MCU seems to have is that they forget that they've made movies before where the things that happened in this movie could have easily solved those other issues. So they went to go see Eternity. Why didn't the Avengers come to Eternity to be like, hey, like, can you just undo all
Hey,
that shit?
cut that out.
Or why didn't Thanos come and just be like, how about we kill everybody?
You know why? Because you needed Stormbreaker, and Stormbreaker wasn't
wasn't-
around
didn't
yet.
exist
yet, right?
Stormbreaker didn't exist yet. You needed
Obviously.
Stormbreaker to
Obvi.
get to Eternity.
Come on.
Obvi.
Weren't you paying attention
Check the
to the
book,
thing
it's
that
in
it
the
said?
book.
Check the
You
book.
read the book. You get the book and tell me. You get the book and show me.
It just seems like at some point the Avengers could have been like, we got one option. We got to get to, and everybody seems to know that it exists. Even Thor should have known because he knew.
Yeah. I mean, that's.
All you got to do is get to Eternity, and they'll grant you a wish.
Hey team, let's go.
And then
do
He-Man
that.
shows up. No, Eternity, not Eternia. Oh, sorry, guys.
My bad. Wrong movie.
Wrong movie.
I'm supposed to be in like one of the greatest movies of all time right now.
Yeah, so
I was like, oh, well, that was easy.
But I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's like the, when you're putting all these movies together and you have to connect them all together, you're gonna come up with that 100 times.
There's a lot
I
of
would
what
get
ifs
kind of
within
sick
the
of it if
movies.
it wasn't his
Why
movie,
couldn't they have just
you know?
done this? Why couldn't they have just done this if they've gone back? But you're talking about like they're
Yeah.
planning on movies 10 years ahead of time, right?
Yeah, but if you're doing that planning, which I
Well, they're
applaud
planning-
them for doing
They're
it.
planning, but not like
Guardians-
writing them all out. You know what I mean? Like they're not like the next 10.
So what you're saying is they're just like, we're going to have a Thor movie, whatever it is.
Yeah.
in
But they're still writing all
2022.
these scripts. The Fantastic Four movie's not written. They're still writing it. They're trying to find
They
a
must
director.
have,
You know what I mean? They
they
have an
must
overall
have
idea.
like in that movie that we're going to tie in this, and we're going to tie in
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. But they don't have everything written out.
Oh, no.
Not
Yeah, but
everything
not
written out.
not only that, but I
I
mean,
feel like we're making excuses for their.
No, but I think,
Well, wait a
it's
minute.
just, no, I think you're right, but I think it's extremely difficult because you
Yeah.
can't go back and change it. It's done. Iron Man 1 is done. You can't put something, but you need to type. You can't. Oh fuck, we could have done that in Iron Man 1. Well, yeah, that was 13 years ago. We can't go back and do it.
right.
Yeah.
So I was going
Yeah.
to say that was kind of. I'm going to piggyback that and say it's when you write the comic books, you write the Iron Man comic books. Iron Man has his own story. You have your crossovers, but essentially it's all the Iron Man comics.
But this isn't comic books, and MCU is tying everything together.
Right.
Yeah,
but this is all based off of comic,
of it is.
all the stories, right?
Well, they took the characters and they've taken some of the canon, but we're no longer putting up those separating walls, right? When the Iron Man...
But we go to that, but you fall into that same thing, what you're saying, because I'm not necessarily, I'm not disagreeing with you per se, but you have an Eternals movie, and or any of the other movies that shit happens, and Captain Marvel didn't just come down and fucking wipe everybody out and take care of it.
Well, they already
could have.
They were like, oh, it's easy, because she was out doing shit.
That's kind of the thing. Otherwise, it's the nuke effect you talked about. Like, what would you drop this nuke and everything's solved?
But give me that, right? Or make the key to get into eternity something different, something that, let's say,
is relevant to the particular person.
Yeah,
at
but
that
the Avengers,
time.
yes, the Avengers didn't have access to that. They had access to Thor. He had the key the whole time. He could have gotten in. So they should have made the key something else. Maybe they should have made
it's something more like
power of friendship. Something
magic.
Back to that Care Bears thing.
Give me the Care Bear stare.
That's essentially what Stormbreaker was doing. It was a Care Bear stare.
Yeah.
Straight into the thing. But don't you think it's more like Thor knows about it, but he's not going to introduce that because fuck, that's like really big time. Like that's kind of like too much. Like we have to get there to deal with this.
I mean,
we can take care of this in a different way. Like he had the hubris. He thought he was going to take care of Thanos with the Stormbreaker, and he ended up hitting him in the chest instead of the head.
But let's go back to that. Right, you failed. And you consider yourself? No, I mean, really, he got overweight, let himself go, right? Because he just stopped caring.
Hey, I'm not really feeling good about myself. Shut up.
So at that point, he's not going to think, I got Stormbreaker, and we could always go to eternity. Because why not? Why wouldn't
that just make my wish to go back to everything?
Yeah. Why wouldn't he do that? So. All I'm saying,
I'm with you,
and I understand what you mean. Like they can't retcon everything; they've already made those movies. But when you're making the new movie, you got to come up with, all right, look, guys, we kind of.
He would have done this for Infinity War.
Done it. So
Endgame.
how are we going to make
an Endgame? How do we make it so he didn't?
How are we going to make it now so that we can do it now, but we couldn't do it then?
Yeah.
Right. So come up with that reason. That's better writing.
Yeah.
Not just. Turns out that the guy had the key all along. He didn't even know it.
It's right here in my pocket.
Oh my goodness! Look,
you wanted that?
Call my phone. Honey, call my phone. Call my phone. Yes. Oh, there it is in my furnace. It was on silent.
Oh my god!
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right, guys, give me a good reason why they couldn't do it before. You know, maybe you needed the Necro sword.
He did have Stormbreaker.
He did have
so
it.
He could have done it.
So that's all I'm saying.
Well, maybe the pressure of only being able to use it for one wish. I don't know.
Oh, grasping at straws. I know what you're saying. I get what you're
That's
saying.
all.
It tends to not be enough.
Make that gate harder to open. Give me something else. Maybe you need.
Other than only one person is able to open it,
and you didn't have before.
Yeah.
If it took Stormbreaker and you had it, you should have been able to do it. It should have been something you didn't have at that time.
Give me something
but
new.
Now you have in this movie. You have the ability now that you didn't have before.
Maybe
to me it would have been like both, Stormbreaker and Mjolnir or something.
Yeah, or maybe
you needed more Care Bears.
Yeah,
Grumpy wasn't there. You got Gloomy Gus wasn't there, so you needed Bedtime Bear wasn't ready. Yeah. So it's
do better writing and come up with a reason why all the other movies that you made this solution wasn't used.
Right.
That's taking care,
which I always have an issue with that kind of a. I'm not gonna say easy out, but like you just go to this god, make a wish, and everything's fine. Like everything turns back to
It's the multiverse.
Yeah, it's just kind of like that's a really easy solution. I'm gonna go to eternity and say I want everybody to be okay again. Okay, good, it's done.
You know what I also would have liked?
Kind of easy.
I would have liked if they had made the caveat that you get there, the first guy gets there, he gets to make a wish, but you sacrifice your life.
Right.
Because then you're not just like, hey, cool, I want to be a rich millionaire or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go there, you're making a wish, it's a heavy wish, it's whatever it is, and you
have to sacrifice something.
You're sacrificing yourself
whether
for that.
Whether it's yourself or a life or something. Yeah, something. Kind of like the Soul Stone.
Soul Stone.
Yeah. Like, that made sense.
Yep.
Yeah,
being able to get the Soul Stone makes sense. Why nobody went and got it beforehand.
Right.
Yeah, that makes more sense to me. Cool.
So that's that's my peeve with that.
I like it. Anything else? What else we got for Thor 4? A little Thor about talking about it.
I thought it was kind of weird that there was so many Guns N' Roses things in the movie.
Yeah, you did mention that.
Yeah,
you
I was
ticked
like,
off a lot of time.
Because I was watching it, I was like, oh yeah, Guns N'
probably one of
Roses.
the greatest.
I know why. Yeah,
X.
I know why. Because I looked it up. I was like, because there was like 4 different Guns N' Roses songs referenced and played.
Well, not for nothing.
That one kid.
Taika's my age.
That one kid's like, oh, I'm Axel now, and you go,
yeah.
Once he said that, I was like, okay, this feels forced. They're really trying to shove
a
Guns in.
5-year-old kid who's named Axel, and I was like, why did you do that to me?
Right?
What
Like when you know about
mean?
like Axl Rose, you're like, really? Are you sure?
I was okay with the
I'm a
soundtrack.
big fan of
No,
Charlie Hill
don't get me
Cowboys.
wrong. I love Guns N' Roses.
Which they're making a
but,
4th
like,
one, by the way. I just saw a preview.
It was enough for me to notice,
like a
you
poster for
know?
that.
It was just a bit like there was, 4 different songs. Someone started singing it. There's a poster. There's some kid named
Actually, he's
Axel.
closer to my age
I'm
than
like,
your
this
age.
is
He's
a bit.
75.
It's a bit much.
Yeah, he's born in 75.
And then I looked up,
47.
and it's like Taika Waititi's like a huge fan of Guns N' Roses, and it's funny because after all this time, he still hasn't even met them. To like go, hey, I made a movie, and I put so much in there, and they go.
They're like,
okay.
cool, thanks for the check.
Yeah, they're like,
I got
thanks
a lot
for the
of checks
listens.
after that one.
Oh,
Disney
yeah.
was putting out a lot of checks to get those songs on there.
I mean,
that shit is not cheap.
The soundtracks he used both in Ragnarok and this one I thought were good.
Oh yeah,
I
no, it was
appreciated
awesome.
it. Yeah.
I
Between
love
this
them.
and, of course, Guardians,
It was just the fact that this was solely
stepped up
made
a
out
lot.
of,
Look at Larry in his face. Well, so much about the way you choose to be.
I know.
That face. You don't like the Guardians soundtrack either?
I liked it.
I mean, they're just fun,
liked it.
right?
Yeah,
For a
they're fun,
superhero, for a
cool
comic book
songs.
movie.
It was a little bit more like meh, but
Which one?
The Guardians soundtrack was a little.
Yeah,
bit
the
meh
first
for
one,
me.
the volume 2, both, or?
They weren't really.
I thought they were nice.
I thought they were fun.
I thought they were fun, and I thought they were good.
I listened to them, and I'm a lot older than you. I'm closer to Royce and Larry's age.
To quote
Those are
Mila,
probably-
I was not blown away by it.
I liked them. I mean, I wasn't say like this is my favorite album of all time.
Yeah, no.
But they're fun to listen to. Like car ride, just jumping in there.
Yeah,
They're
good.
not bad.
That's what is this?
They're not bad.
Yeah.
They just don't
good
make
car
me
ride
like,
songs.
Yeah, it's just not.
Well, luckily in the movie they used them pretty correctly. Like they used like good songs for good moments. They didn't try to use a not hype song for a
I had
hype
no
moment.
problem
You know?
with them. They weren't like, they didn't like blow me away. They didn't blow me away. I wasn't like when they played what do you call it, Led Zeppelin in Ragnarok. I was like that
fit
perfect.
That was awesome. Right? It was only a matter of time until they used that song for a Thor movie.
Yeah.
It was like using Iron Man at the end of Iron Man. You're like, when are they going to do that? I feel like this is going to happen.
Gotta happen.
Yeah, absolutely. There it is. All right. Have we exhausted Thor? Everybody got everything off their chest?
I think
I'd
we've
say
talked
so.
more about Thor than we possibly thought we could talk about.
Yeah, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, because you went in with the meh.
You know what?
When
I'm
you start
still
off with a meh, it didn't seem
Well,
like it
yeah.
was going to go to an hour and 2 minutes.
Well, it's because we filled it in with 40 minutes of other shit, I think.
No. Just a lot of Stormbreaker talk.
A lot of Stormbreaker.
A lot of Stormbreaker is the key.
So we talked more about
Stormbreaker
Stormbreaker.
and the
is the
Eternity
key.
Wish, right?
Yeah, my God. And like
that's
that.
where
No.
the time came in.
Also, the like, but your child or that one
There
or
was a
the
lot of
random
who's saving
shit,
who
you know?
and why the fuck are you saving your child? Sorry, Larry.
Why
not
would you
saving
save your child?
Bringing your
No.
child back from death.
Bring your child
Sorry, I don't want
back
Larry to
from
go off for another
death.
15 minutes.
Yeah, Larry's like, everything's meh. You know what, though? I fucking hate this part.
When he brought his kid back,
That was bullshit.
it's terrible.
Listen. Next time you and Bruno want to have an argument, take it off the podcast.
All right.
Hey, don't bullshit me.
He yelled at me about
Next
that
time
the
you
other
want to
day.
bullshit me, you go home and bullshit each other.
He yelled at me about that the other day when you and I were going off during Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh my God! There was
About
like
the
a
reboots.
legit. There was a 20
Guess what?
minute.
There's
just the
another.
two of you. I was like, oh.
I gotta listen to that again.
Oh, you gotta
That's
listen.
just
I was
because you
good.
wanted to
I was listening to it
replace
because I'm
him.
putting it up on YouTube, so I was
Yeah.
re-listening to it. So telling everybody, hey, I'm going to listen to it. It's a great episode. And he's right. There's like 20 minutes of you and I talking about reboots.
Yeah.
And the value of reboots versus redos.
yeah.
I was like, whoa! Like,
yeah.
I
The
put it
bullshit
down.
of it.
I
Oh,
walked
we
away
talked
and came
about
back.
Yeah.
Your
I remember
hatred for
I remember
reboots and
that.
why they're necessary.
Yeah, and you were like,
And
this
your
is why they
defense
do it.
for
And I was
reboots,
like,
you know?
you're crazy.
It's
By all
money.
means, if you
Don't
haven't
You're like,
heard
I
that,
get it.
go
It's
back and
money.
listen.
Yeah, it's money. It's all it is money. It's all about the money. It's all about the Benjamins. All right, gang. So let's give it all. Let's go through the room and give it our overall rating. I don't care if you use mics, dildos. I don't give a shit what you guys want me to talk about.
2.5.
2.5 Thors, throw 2.5 hammers. I don't give a shit. What do you want to talk about?
2.5 Mjolnirs.
Mjolnirs.
Mjolnir. Mayonnaise.
There it is.
40 Boca Ratons.
40 Boca Ratons.
I give it 2.5 whatevers out of 5.
Okay.
It was whatever.
I'm gonna say 4.5 or a 5. Because the thing is,
out of a 5?
No, out of 10. My bad. Out of 10. No, or a 5. I said or a 5. My bad.
But out of 10.
Because I still had fun watching this. At the end of the day, when I finished watching, I was like, that was cool.
He was naked at one point, so
he was naked with stupid tattoos on his back. How could I not?
So we're relatively.
That was like stupid, but like okay, they put some connection in there. There's a little him and lover Tony.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
All right.
So you and I just give it the same rating. You and I just gave it the same rating.
Yeah, because he was out of 5, you were out of 10.
Yeah, 2.5 out of 5.
So
it's half.
You're like 4.5 out of 5 out of 10. So
it's the same.
Then there you go. Yeah, half.
You both gave it an F. Fantastic. Bruno?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I mean, there were a lot of problems with it. It was too full of jokes and stuff, but I enjoyed it. I really liked the Thor character. I liked the way Hemsworth plays it, and the music was obviously fucking awesome. So I'm going to go with a 4.5 out of 5.
I'm probably sticking around the 3.5 hammers out of 5. I liked a lot of it. There was too much humor in there for me. That got a little too goofy for my taste.
Yeah.
And like, so there was a few, the Jane stuff, I was just not like, it was just too much. That the relationship stuff was just a little like, I get it. We need to get the payoff at the end because she dies. So we have to have this emotional connection between them. But we've had that emotional connection with them since the very first movie.
We haven't really, though.
Oh, we did. We did. We had it. The first one.
They pretended she just stopped
but they had the relationship. They weren't good.
They forgot about her for 2 full movies.
The second one, she was in the second one. She was in the second movie. She's in the second movie.
Really? No, she's the main. She's like the main one.
She's the one who absorbs.
Look, it still sucked. It sucked.
Oh no, that movie
sucked. The movie sucked. But the relationship stuff is there.
Yeah, but
you have the relationship when he goes back in time during Endgame, and you see her, and they have to go get the thing from her. You know what I mean? You have that, and he's like, "Oh, Jane, I want to see Jane." Like you see their relationship back and forth. So like by the time I got to this movie, I understood already that he loved her and he missed her because he constantly talks about her.
Right.
Even during the Guardian shit, like when he was with them, he talks about Jane and his lost love, and we're always hearing about fucking Jane. I get it. You loved her. So when you get her back, we get her. When you get her back, it's like, oh my God, it's amazing. And then she dies. Like, I totally get that. I didn't need to see 3/4 of the movies about this relationship stuff with them.
Well, there wasn't much more to the movie.
They're fun, like, well, no, but okay, so make it shorter. Make it a little shorter. It was kind of long. But, like, there's a lot of, like, they're having dinner together. And they're like, oh, God, I don't give a shit. They're on the couch eating popcorn, watching TV. I do not care. Oh, no, he's golfed. Look, he's swinging. He's flying away. And she's all mopey because he laughed. Like, I did not care about any of that shit. It didn't move the story for me. It didn't add to the relationship for me. I couldn't have cared less. I still would have felt for him.
I'm never unhappy about watching Natalie Portman.
Okay, don't get me wrong. I think she's a fine actress. I enjoy watching her. I always have. But that portion just didn't add to the movie for me. It kind of slowed it down for me on a comic book movie. It was just too much of that lovey-dovey romantic comedy in a comic book movie.
That's what this was.
It was. It was a romantic comedy.
It was a rom-com.
So
it was a Thor rom-com.
Yeah.
In a comic book movie, I don't really want to see a rom-com.
I didn't even notice.
He slid that right in there. Like,
oh my God!
Just so you know, you're not watching a comic book movie.
Larry,
you
son of a bitch!
Son of a bitch!
You got me again.
You got me with the rom-com. I didn't even know. So yeah, that bugged me. That took me out of it a little bit. Other than that, I enjoyed it. I'll always watch a Thor movie. I love Chris Hemsworth's take on the character, and I'm glad that he said he will continue to play the character for as long as they will have him. Like I like that he's got that committed to the character.
That character put him on the map for real.
Sure, absolutely.
Oh my God, yeah.
Saved his career.
It really got him that awesome Ghostbusters role, and just fucking around.
I read a quote how he was saying that he thought after the Ghostbusters movies his career was going to be over.
Sure.
Yeah,
that's a reasonable place to think.
Yeah.
They all did, including Paul Feig, who was the guy who made that movie.
He wasn't wrong.
Yeah, I know he wasn't wrong at all. So, all right, there it is. And gang, we are Entertainment Rants at entertainmentrants.com. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Mila.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bruno.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
All right, gang. Engage with us at entertainmentrants.com. Drop us a line at engage@entertainmentrants.com or find us on social media at Entertainment Rants. We hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Please feel free to drop us a review on Apple Podcasts, unless you are the Washington Sentinels, and then fuck them. And I don't give a shit. All right, there it is. We love you guys. Go out there. What are we going to do?
Let's rant.
Anybody else?
Sure. How about we rant?
Let's rant.
I would assume we would rant, but I suppose.